Good day. Welcome to Flip Lectures in Chemistry. Today, we will be talking about the physical properties of a solution. But before we talk about the physical properties of a solution, let us first define what is a solution. A solution is a homogeneous mixture made of particles that exist as individual molecules or ions. Its composition at any one part is similar to that at any other part. When we talk about solutions would refer to a mixture of two or more substances that are identical all throughout. It can be physically separated, just like, for example, the salt water or the salt from water. When we talk about a solution can be made up of two different parts. We have the first one, which is the solute, which would refer to the substance in the smallest amount and the one that dissolves in the solvent. Aside from the solute, we also have the solvent. The solvent refers to the substance in the larger amount that dissolves the solute. A very good example of a solution is in the iced tea solution or mixture. In the iced tea solution or mixture, we have an iced tea mix. The iced tea mix in this example is our solute. We have to remember that the solute is the one that is dissolved in the solvent. In the process of combining the iced tea mix with water, which is considered as the universal solvent, iced tea mix will be dissolved in the water solution. So out of combining the iced tea mix with water, we come up with an iced tea or a solution which is already containing both the solute and the solvent. Aside from the solution, later on we will also talk about colloids, and examples of colloids that we use every day are milk, we have the fog, we have the jello, which are also considered solutions. Solutes change solvents. The amount of solute in a solution determines how much the physical properties of the solvent are changed. Example, when we lower the freezing point. The freezing point of a liquid solvent decreases when the solute is dissolved in it. A very good example is pure water, which freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, but when salt is dissolved in it, its freezing point is already lowered. This is why people use salt to melt ice easily. So at home, if you want to melt ice easily, you use salt. Another example or another factor that would also change solvents is the raising of the boiling point. The boiling point of a solution is higher than the boiling point of the solvent. Therefore, when we talk about a solution, this can remain a liquid at a higher temperature than its pure solvent. Example of this is the boiling point of pure water, which is 212 degree Fahrenheit or 100 degree Celsius. When salt is added, however, to water, when it is dissolved in it, the boiling point becomes higher. This is why it takes salt water longer to boil compared to the fresh water. So better try this at home. If you have, for example, salt water, it actually takes a longer time for salt water to boil compared to a fresh water. So you can have this experiment. Now, let's talk about the concentration of the amount of solute dissolved in a solvent. When we talk about the concentration, this refers to the solubility of a particular material to be dissolved in a liquid substance or a solvent at a given temperature. Concentration can be separated or can be further described into three different types. Concentration can either be described as a solute if it has a low concentration, or a dilute if it has a low concentration of solute. So this one is an example of a diluted solution or solvent, I mean. Next, aside from a diluted solution, we also have what we call a saturated solution. A saturated solution is described as such if it has a high concentration of solute. If we compare, for example, the number of solute particles for the case of the diluted solution, there are more particles or solute in the saturated solution. So again, this one describes or is a perfect example of a saturated solution wherein more solute is found compared to a diluted solution. Aside from the dilute or the diluted solution and the saturated solution, we also have a supersaturated solution. What is a supersaturated solution and why is it different from a dilute and saturated solution? When we talk about a supersaturated solution, we refer to the number of solute. To make it simple, based on the picture presented, if we talk about a supersaturated solution, this means that the dissolved solute contains or is more compared to that of the solvent. If we look at the particles here, we have more uh, solute compared to the solvent particles, which are the smaller particles. Okay, so again, we have the dilute, the saturated, and the supersaturated solution. Now, aside from the concentration of solutions, we also have what we call solubility. When we talk about solubility, this would refer to the amount of solute that dissolves in a certain amount of solvent at a given temperature and pressure to produce a saturated solution. So for us to produce such saturated solution, there are two factors that would basically influence the solubility of a material or solute in a solvent. So we have, for example, the first factor is our temperature and the second factor is our pressure. By the way, what do we call things that are not soluble? Any idea? When we talk about things that are not soluble, we refer to insoluble. Okay? We refer to insoluble solutions or insoluble, things. So when we talk about insoluble things, these are actually things that are not soluble. Okay? So how does temperature influence the solubility of solids, for example? If temperature is increased, it causes solid to be more soluble and vice versa. This is why, or this is the reason why, salt is easily dissolved in water when temperature is increased. Or any material which is soluble or which is soluble in a solution can easily be dissolved when temperature is increased. Another type of thing which is also dissolved or affected or influenced in terms of its solubility are the gases. Gases, or for gases, increased temperature causes them to be less soluble and vice versa. What about for the case of pressure? Solids, when increased pressure, has no effect on solubility. So no matter how high or how low pressure is, solids are not being influenced in terms of their solubility in a solvent. For the case of gases, increased pressure causes them to be more soluble and vice versa. A very good example of this is the reason why soda, for example, and bottled Coke products or soft drinks are filled in with high pressure. They are filled in with high pressure to make the gases more soluble in liquid substances. What about the bends? Familiar of the bends? Scuba divers are advised to go up in an ascending manner, in this manner, for example, and not to go up straight from the bottom part. Why is that so? When we talk about bends, our body tends to produce a higher amount of gas when we are surrounded by a higher amount of pressure. So, for example, if a person is down under the sea or in the lower part of the ocean or of the sea, for example, or a body of water, pressure tends to increase around him. When pressure is increasing around him, the ability of the body to produce gases inside it tends to decrease or increase also. When it increases, therefore, the body also responds to it by dissolving the gases produced by the body itself easily or faster. When a person goes up from the bottom part in a fast manner, the person's body will be exposed to a condition or an environment where pressure is already low. When pressure is already low, this means that the person's body has to adapt with it. And if there are still more amount of gas inside the body cannot easily dissolve it. That is why scuba divers, for them to avoid bending or bends, they have to ascend in this manner and not in this manner. Okay? Next, aside from this, so we go back once again when we talk about, for example, types of solutions, we have the first one. Blank is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. We call this, what do you think? We call this a solution. Again, we call this a solution. Okay, that's it. Again, when we say solutions, solutions are referred to as homogeneous mixtures of two or more substances. What about the substance present in smaller amounts in a solution? Any idea? Again, the substance or substances that are present in smaller amounts are what we call solute. Okay, so we call them solutes. Okay, what about the substance present in large amount? Any idea? The substance present in large amount are what we call solvents. Okay? So again, we have a solution, which is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances, a solute, which is the substance present in smaller amounts, and we also have the solvent, which is the substance present in larger amounts. Now, let's talk about the different types of solution. The different types of solutions are actually dependent on the phase of matter involved in its formation. We have, for example, first type,